Hello, dreamy people. I am so excited about today's guest. Dr. Patsy Blackshear is back in the Haven to talk about her latest project, celebrating African American female pioneers. You may remember Dr. Blackshear from season 4 when we showcased the documentary The Bates Center of Excellence, in which she served as the executive producer with the Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Foundation, which is located in Annapolis, Maryland. Today, she is sharing her latest project, which focuses on the accomplishments of African American women who were the first to make a significant contribution in their area of expertise. It is a wonderful homage to the women who paved the way for many of us, and I'm happy to have Dr. Blackshear on to talk about it. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Blackshear to the Haven.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. Now, I want to go straight to the chase. We're talking about women first.
Yes.
And one thing that I want to point out is the author who you, Miss Dr. Patsy Blackshear, who was the first African American woman appointed to the Anne Arundel County, Maryland Board of Appeals. Has it been more than 8 years?
I served 2 terms, which was 8 years.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
And
Long haul.
very long haul, and I'm sure very rewarding work.
Yes, it was. It was.
And you are also involved in the Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Foundation, which was actually founded by your husband,
Yes.
Leonard Blackshear.
Yes.
So before we talk about the book, I'd like to talk a little bit about that
Okay.
and give our dream catchers some information about the foundation and also what they would find when they go to downtown
Okay.
Annapolis.
Well, most people in the region know the foundation for 2 things. One is the Kunta Kinte Festival. And that festival was started back in 1987 when Alex Haley was still alive, and he would come every year. And my husband and his board founded that festival, and it's been held every year since 1987. They might have had 1 year they didn't hold it, but it's been an ongoing effort since 1987. And the other thing—
And it's usually in September?
It's in September. This year it's going to be Saturday, September 23rd.
Okay, so it's
on
always
the
a
city
Saturday.
Docks. It's on. It's always a Saturday. Years ago, when it was first founded, it would be a whole weekend. Now it's just the Saturday.
Okay.
And the second thing the foundation is known for is the Alex Haley Memorial. And the Alex Haley Memorial is on the city docks in Annapolis. It's one of the most visited things in the state of Maryland, one of the most visited memorials, definitely. And you don't come to Annapolis without going to the memorial. And the memorial is it has a number of components, but the piece that is most endearing, 2 pieces, is a life-size statue of Alex and a group of 3 mixed-race kids. And he's reading to them. And he's reading to them because he's making the point of the importance of sharing your history, sharing your heritage. And that's what the foundation focuses on.
And I think we have a shot of that we're showing our
Wonderful,
viewers.
wonderful. And the other thing that I love about the memorial is something called the story wall. And the story wall shares values from the book Roots that are just sound, fundamental values that I think all of us embrace.
And you're referring to the book that was turned into a series
Yes.
back in what year was
Yes.
that?
Oh God, I think
It's the 80s,
it
right?
It was the 70s.
The 70s.
It was the 70s, and I want to
Okay.
say, I want to say 76 or 72. Only reason I know is because there was a major snowstorm that weekend, and we were visiting some friends, and we chose to drive home that Sunday so we could be at home for that series to start. So no, it was in the 70s.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so our viewers who have not seen Roots can probably catch it on, I don't know, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, some outlet, Hulu.
BET,
Yeah.
And then there's been a updated version of Roots as well. So there's the original roots, and then there was an updated version as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you said that when he was alive,
He would
Alex
come to
Haley
the
would come
festival
to the
every year.
festival.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the things that people can expect to see at the festival?
Well, you're going to have performances all day long. Now it's just, well, it's one major stage, but they generally have some other area where they have small music performances, but one major stage. You're going to have vendors, you're going to have food, you're going to have spoken words, and it's all kicked off with a commemoration ceremony. The commemoration ceremony is something that the foundation does every year, again, since 1987, where we pay honor to those unnamed Africans, including Kunta Kinte, who came to these shores to help build this United States. So we just pay homage to them and the contributions that they made, as well as Bonds people and indentured people who came into this country.
Okay, and then there's the Compass Rose, which is one of my
The
favorite
Compass Rose,
things.
it is? Okay, well, that's another component. The Compass Rose is an interesting component of the memorial, because if you stand in the center of it, you can face towards the country of your heritage, your family's heritage, whether it is Asia, whether it is Europe, whether it is Africa. And the center turned in that particular direction gives you true north, the true direction to that particular continent.
Yeah, we have a picture of that as well,
Okay.
that we're showing our viewers so they can really get a visual of what that looks like.
Okay.
And also it's a self-guided tour that
Well, the
you have set up?
self-guided tour is interesting because some years back we decided to make the memorial a instrument of opportunity for people to learn more by creating QR codes and videos that a visitor could actually cue in on, and they can decide which component of the memorial they want to learn more about. And they can, via video, using a QR code, they can go to our website or the QR code that they can scan, and what they can do is just learn about 4 major components of the memorial. And it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it, and
Yeah.
I encourage our viewers to definitely take a trip to the Annapolis City Docks
Yeah.
to check that out.
Yeah. And the thing that's interesting about it is that I share with people all the time that it is the next best thing to having a personal guide.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Is it Chris Haley that is
Chris
doing the
Haley is
narration?
the commentator through it. He does a wonderful job.
And he is the
Nephew of Alex. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Who I also had on the show a
Okay.
few shows ago, a few episodes around the beginning of our season
Yeah.
to talk about his latest book.
Chris,
so.
I want to say Chris was, if not one of the founding board members, he was one of the early board members on the, with both the festival group and then the foundation. His father as well, Julius, was on the board. So we
okay.
always, when Julius was alive and when Alex was alive, definitely, we always had a Haley on the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's a great legacy to
Yes.
have.
Yes.
So I started your intro talking about the Bates documentary
Okay.
that featured some teachers.
15.
15 teachers.
15 teachers who were still alive, who had taught at Bates before the schools were integrated. And if people don't know Bates, Bates is the only high school that was in Anne Arundel County. And I used to marvel at the fact that I would, when I would interact with people, since I'm not from Annapolis, although I live there, and I would interact with them and I would say, everybody knows everybody. I mean, how is that
How
the
is
case?
that possible?
Yeah, particularly for black people. I said, how is that the case? Well, what I found out is they knew everyone because they either went to school with that individual or they went to school with that person's relative, aunt or brother or cousin or whoever. And so that's how they know each other in the county. And so it was a very close community, but it was really considered by a lot of schools in this region to be the Mighty Bates. The Mighty Bates because it was a big high school. Back in the years 1940s, we're talking about 2,000 kids at that school because they would come to that school from all over the county. So they had a choir of over 200 you know, students in the choir. They had sports teams that would win almost everything that they competed in. And it was a community. Bates was the community.
And you served as the executive producer for that documentary, and I know that you had a outstanding first night of exhibition of the film.
Yes, we did a weekend unveiling of the film, and what was wonderful about it is that we had, I can't remember now, I want to say 10. Why does 10 stick with me? I want to say 10 of the 15 teachers were there that we had interviewed. And what was so wonderful about it is many of those teachers had not interacted or seen each other since they had left Bates. And the school system was fully integrated. And it was just so wonderful for them. And they were in their 80s and 90s. 3, I believe, 4 now have since passed. So we're very happy that we were able to capture that history, and we still share it.
Absolutely, and our show actually featured the documentary in 2 parts during our Black History Month showcase of films, and it was a real honor to do that, and we should absolutely continue to do that.
Please do.
Now, for people to get more information about the Alex Haley, Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Foundation events or activities, where should they go?
To our website, kintehaley.org.
Okay.
K-I-N-T-E Haley, H-A-L-E-Y.
.org. And they'll also be able to get information about the festival there?
Not the festival. The festival is called the Kunta Kinte Festival, and it's a different website.
Okay.
But we often get emails from people seeking information about the festival, and we pass them on to the festival group.
Okay, okay. Now, one thing that I just want to highlight about all of the things that you talked about that you've been involved in, there has always been a component of education.
Yeah.
Because you have a strong desire to ensure that people know their roots, their heritage. I know once upon a time, you also founded a ancestry project in Annapolis. You want to talk a little bit about that? And hopefully it'll be coming back.
We've done a number of ancestry projects. The one you're speaking about is something called Grandparents Passing It Forth. And it was a success.
Yes, absolutely.
It was an astounding success. And why have we not done it? Because we're a small organization, and it has to do with bench strength, manpower, and what we're going to pursue at a point in time. But we've had so many requests to do that again. The thing that was nice about that ancestry project is that we required that registration include the grandparent and the grandchild, and that they go to the various workshops that we had together. So it was grandparents sharing information about their family heritage with that grandchild, and so that was the whole conference, and it was just wonderful.
It was.
And if I recall, that was a 2-day conference, but it was just wonderful. But we've also done something a number of summers called Roots Camp, which again is a heritage project and genealogy project, but that was just for youngsters. We started it off for youngsters, primarily middle school youngsters, where they would be in a computer lab for a week. And what they were doing during that week is doing genealogy research. And part of their research included learning websites that they could go to